Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Miss KK and this is The Wave. It is your weekly show that looks at topics related to personal, family and business finance, and I hope that by the time you get to the end of this conversation you are really better equipped to make sound financial decisions. So if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate having you on board. Please do consider subscribing, and if you're already a returning subscriber, and awesome appreciation for you guys always sticking by and engaging with your various content. Alright, today I'm back with yet another video, and this time we are discussing bonuses. So last week I went on my Instagram and I posted the question of what did you do with your last bonus? And the reason I do this is because a lot of us get some lump sum of some sort. It can be a bonus, it can be a tax refund, it can be an inheritance, but we don't generally think through before we spend this thing, and the money vanishes quickly, and then we're regretting, I could have done this, I could have done this, I could have done this. Or you spend it on things that appear to be important at the time, but reflecting back a few years down the line, you're wondering, did I really have to spend my money on that? So the reason why I brought this conversation is so that we can start engaging in topics like that, and also for people that really did well with their bonuses, so they can share their tips, so that when you get your lump sum next time, you actually are better prepared, or you have some ideas of what to do with your money. So with me here, I have 5 pointers of the 5 top things you should consider doing with your bonus next time, and I'm going to start with the first one, which is paying off your debt. All right, debt repayment can be a little bit challenging, especially if your income is constrained. So if you get a lump sum and you're in a position to pay off that debt, please do so. Number one, you are saving yourself a ton in interest, and also debt really cripple your income, your monthly income. So if you can pay it off, free up that income, it will enable you to start doing things that you really would like to do, things like saving up for maybe a trip, or saving up towards your first investment, or really just allowing you to maybe venture into other things such as starting your own business. So if you're in a capacity to do so, please do so. And also because interest on short-term debt, especially unsecured debt, things like personal loan, cash day loans, overdraft, tend to be a lot more expensive compared to any investment return you can make on your typical traditional investment. Therefore, your next best alternative thing to do with your money, if you have debt, is to actually pay off this debt. It doesn't mean just paying off in full. You can pay part of it. So let's say you get a bonus of 30,000, you can say 15,000 I'm putting towards my debt, and the remainder I can then do the other things that I want. So all we're saying is get yourself ahead of that debt repayment journey, because any lump sum you put towards debt would go and attack your capital, meaning the following months after you've put that lump sum in, it's going to save you a ton in interest, and it will actually bring forth your repayment period a lot earlier, and you can get a little bit free earlier than anticipated. So that's my first thing that a lot of people suggested with their bonuses. The second thing is to kickstart your construction journey or the renovation project. So a lot of us have dreams of eventually starting our own houses, or starting to build our own houses, or buy our own houses, or actually renovate an existing property that we have. So getting a bonus can help you kickstart that journey. So it can help you kickstart in the sense that maybe if there's a plot you would like to buy, you can put up a deposit on that plot, and then you commit to paying off that plot earlier. If you are doing maybe a renovation, you can use that money to start buying the material, if it's going to be enough, maybe finishing the entire renovation on its own, or it can help you build at home. So basically, building requires a bit of money, and the more capital upfront you have, the easier it will be to finish the project. So if you have something in mind, do consider actually kickstarting that renovation project or kickstarting that construction project, and just be prepared to actually go the extra mile, because the bonus you are plowing in might not necessarily be enough to finish the project, but if you already started, you might as well stick it out and complete your construction with your monthly income as months progresses. If the lump sum gets finished before you can finish your project, there's no harm in stopping, accumulating savings, and restarting again. So that is the second thing that I really thought a couple of people mentioned that you should consider doing, or they did with their last bonus, that you should consider doing with your last bonus. The third thing that someone did with their bonus is to prepay expenses that they are anticipating. So prepaying expenses is just paying in advance because you know that expense is coming. So for example, for parents that knows that in January it's going to be back to school, and they're going to have upfront school fees, registration fees, uniform, back to school, stationery list, they put that money up front for such expenses, so that in January they are not struggling. They've already made the step ahead. Plus, if you pay in advance, a lot of school would offer you a discount, and you get some savings from that. So that's what a lot of people did with regards to that. Some people actually took their kids for shopping, to shop for the home whole year. So they know they would need school shoes, they would need, just normal clothing, they would need bags, etc. So they also put that money to upfront for that shopping so that they don't have to do it with their monthly monthly income. The other thing that you can do, for example, is paying once-off expenses that you know are gonna come. Things like car, discs, renewal, things like maybe prepaying your rates and taxes for the whole year. So all this concept is trying to do is you are paying in advance for expenses that you know are likely to come, and it's going to free up your income in those months when those expenses hit, or it's going to make your budget a lot lighter on a monthly basis. The fourth thing that someone did that was extremely exciting for me is they actually saved the money to make up for the loss of income when they go on maternity leave. And this is really, really important, especially for people that are planning to have babies, because we do know that when you go on maternity leave, depending on your employer, you may or may not get an income from your employer, and you may have to go claim from Social Security. But we all know Social Security will only pay you 15,000 or lower than that, but they won't pay you more than 15,000. So what you could do is save up this money so that when you go on maternity leave, you're not so constrained. You can actually top up your monthly income to substantiate the loss of an income. Because let's just face the reality: if you used to get 30,000 per month and now Social Security is paying you half the salary that you actually are used to, what's going to happen to your other commitment? You still need to pay your rent, you still need to pay food, you still need to pay your pension fund, you still need to contribute toward medical aid, and on top of that you have new expenses for the baby. So it really be a great idea if you can save this money to help you in the 3 months that you're actually not getting your full salary and while you're preparing to get back to work. So I really think for people that are planning to have babies in the future, this is one of an incredible idea that you can implement so that you know that motherhood is easier on you. Motherhood already has a lot of emotional change. Your body is going through change. You're trying to adjust to being a new mother, and if you were to add financial stress on that, things would just go really difficult for you. So if you can implement this idea, it will be really great for you. And lastly is to kickstart your investment journey with this lump sum. So a typical example is, number one, bonds in Namibia and unit trust at a lot of the major banks. So the bonds in Namibia are issued by Bank of Namibia on behalf of the government, and these bonds are normally, you need at least 50,000 or more to participate. And also, for example, unit trust, they changed last year where most of the banks are requiring you to have at least 75,000 up to invest in a unit trust. So what you could do is you could save all this money, put it aside, add a little bit, top it up so that when the next bond issuance comes, you can participate in that, or so that you can take that money and then invest in a unit trust, because it's very rare that 70,000 comes around. But if you can get 30,000 to kickstart and actually just building it up quickly, it will help you go a long way. So I really just thought these ideas were really incredible, and there's a lot more in the highlight where this came from. If you go on our Instagram and you go to highlight, then you go to Q&A, the latest version, you'll be able to find all the other responses from this. So these are just the 5 top ones that really made an impact for me, and things that I'm considering on doing with my next bonus when it comes. Okay. Then we are going to move to my favorite crew, which is the student and the NSFAF refund. So gone are the days where people will get refunds, buy iPhones, buy wigs, buy this, and waste their money, because we do know that the money you are wasting as a student can help you go a long way. And there will come a time where you can afford to buy yourself an iPhone. There will come a time where you can afford to buy yourself a wig. It's just not now, because the money you get now can actually get you a head start. Because if you can master your finances in university, it will take you a long way. So this part of the video is really aimed at my student crew, or if you have a sister that in university, please pass on the video to them so that they can learn one thing or two from it. So the first thing I would do with my NSFAF refund if I were a student is to start building at home, especially if you are from Northern Namibia, where you are expected to build a room for your own. And we all know that for a lot of us comes from less privileged family, there is not really much that's happening at home. So our family sending us to school is a beacon of hope, so that when you come back, you are able to improve home. So if you can get a refund that is actually enabling you to maybe fix onto Pungura, to fix onto Kurara, to fix your mother's cracking, a wall and leaking roof, it will really go a long way. So don't just think, when I get this refund is about me. Think about the holistic view. Your family is sending you to university to be able to improve the condition at home, and it doesn't start when you start working. Once you have the means to start that, you can start that project. So building home is one of the things I would do. And obviously you won't be able, because you're a student, you won't be able to finish all that completely. But what you can do is start a bit in like year one when you get a refund. For example, if you want to build a boundary wall, get one corner, one side of the house built. When you get the other refund, you continue. When you get the other refund, you continue, such that by the time you start working, you would only have one more corner to go and maybe completing a room or so. So that is really just an idea that I thought about. Number two is you could save it for next year. So for a lot of people, you guys really get this refund, but the refund doesn't come throughout the year. It comes at one point in time. But throughout the year, next year, the following year, you're going to be struggling with cosmetics. You're going to be struggling with, Wi-Fi, maybe data issues to do your homework. You're going to be struggling with, textbooks, etc. So save that money so that you can use it next year when you really, really need it. Because right now you are getting towards the end of the year. You don't have textbooks to buy. The year is almost over. You're nearly going home for holiday. But when you come back next year, those expenses will be there. So it will help you if you have that money in a savings account, so that you can actually then use it to supplement your allowance that you may be getting from your siblings, or your allowance that you may be getting from your parents. Then number three, I would myself enroll in a driving school. Driving school is quite expensive, and the longer you wait, the more the rates increases. So when I did my driving school, it was 80 an hour, but currently we are charging 140 an hour. That just shows the inflation between 2016 and 2022. So what you could do is you could pay an unlimited package and get your driving license. The reason why driving license is very important is because a lot of job description would require a license, because a lot of them expect that you should be able to drive when duty calls. So if you can have that license already now, it will take up so much pressure in year one when you start working, because then this is already out of the way and you can just focus on other things. So if you can, please consider doing a learner's license, and then eventually starting your driver's license and paying an unlimited package. I'd say unlimited because you know that you're guaranteed by the time you are done with this, you'd have your license. Unlike paying, 10 hours and then thereafter paying 10 hours and then the money getting finished and then you actually haven't even gotten your license and you've basically just wasted your money. So that is really one thing that I would consider that you should do. The fourth thing that I would consider you should do is starting a side hustle. So for a lot of people, side hustles are a way to generate income, especially if there are other people that depend on you. And as a student, there's so many side hustles that you can start, but the one thing that you lack is capital. So if you can use a portion of your, a refund to invest in that starting capital, let's say you want to start getting into selling belts, which is quite popular with a lot of students, you need money to actually buy your first 2 or 3 belts, and that you can take from your refund, and thereafter you can recycle that money, keep the profit, and eventually your business should be able to sustain itself. But I would say consider doing a side hustle that wouldn't interfere with your study, that wouldn't derail you entirely, because we still want you to finish and we still want you to graduate, and we don't want you to actually quit your degree because you are now making 5,000 extra from your business and you think that is a lifestyle, because that 5,000 might look like a lot because you are a student now, but a few years down the line when you have responsibility, that 5,000 will mean nothing to you. There are other ideas that you can start. There are a lot of quite popular makeup artists that are actually students. There are nail technicians that are students. So there's quite a lot that you can do, but just do something that is low risk and something that wouldn't interfere with your study. And lastly, I would say give back to those that have helped you. So we as a working class have a lot of responsibilities on our shoulders. You are not the only person that we are supporting. We are supporting you, your siblings, our parents at home, and other friends and family. So you actually giving back to me, even if I work, I might really appreciate, because there is something that I'm also wanting to do, but the income is just quite tight. And if I could get that a little bit of lump sum from someone to just say thank you, I'd really appreciate. And for me personally, I would relate to this because my sister gave me a portion of her NSFAF refund to enable me to do my driver's license. And if it wasn't for that lump sum, I probably wouldn't have got my license in 2016. Maybe I would have waited another 2 years, 3 years before I can actually afford all the driving classes. So really, I just thought lump sums are a good way to change your financial journey. If you're struggling with debt, it's a good way to alleviate that pressure. If you're struggling to invest, it's a good way to kickstart that journey. If you're struggling to, comment commence that project, it's a good start to commence that project. So I really enjoyed the conversation with you guys on Instagram, and I hope to also engage further in the comment section. So if you do have a good idea of what you did with your bonus last time, or if you really think one of this idea is worth trying, please let us know in the comment section below. And remember to please always, share our videos with your friends and family. Consider subscribing, and if you haven't done so, and let's continue learning and evolving together. So until next time, it is goodbye, and please keep safe.